Ողջույն հայրենակիցներ, Alpha News-ի Los Angeles-ի տաղավարում այսօր հետաքրքիր հյուր ունեմ։ Ashli Sayad-ն է իմ հյուրը, ուրեմն գործարար եւ համայնքային ակտիվիստ, ազգությամբ ասորացի եւ նաեւ մի քիչ էլ հայ։ Hi Ashley, and thank you for coming.
Բարև, ինչ պասես։
Love Ashley. Thank you so much for being here, and finally I met you here. Other than that, I used to see you every Armenian event, like demonstration, whatever was going on last year. There was a lot of going on, and I always see you there. Why? Is it because you have like a little bit Armenian blood?
Yes, there's a little Armenian in me. I am Assyrian and Lithuanian. My great-great-grandmother from Iran was Armenian. So it definitely touches my heart what I see, what's happening.
But also I saw other people, not here, but in New York, there was again a protest, Armenian protest. I saw other Assyrians.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I want you to, because I know you are very active, like in the community, tell us a little bit more about Assyrian community in LA and in general, in America. So how organized is it?
Sure. So a little bit of my journey, especially in the last few years, I've been getting more in touch with my roots, and I'm born and raised in Chicago. So I'm third generation. And as I started getting older, I just started getting more, fascinated and interested in my roots. So in Chicago, we have a huge Assyrian community. It's probably the biggest in the United States. And I was seeing that actually the Assyrian community, when the issues with Artsakh was happening, a lot of the Assyrians were posting like news on social media, where in the mainstream media, they weren't talking about it. So a lot of the Assyrians I saw that were contributing to the Armenians. But when it comes to organization, we have like communities in Chicago, we have it in Arizona, California. We're all over the United States, but we do have a small community here. And
how small, like approximately how many people? Do you have any numbers, like how many Assyrians? Let's say when we talk about Armenians, we say about 1.5 million Armenians live in California, for example. Do you have any numbers? Like
that's a good question.
How many Assyrians are?
I honestly don't know in the state of California. We have a lot in San Jose, Turlock, Modesto, Los Angeles, but they're scattered all around. But honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you like a specific number.
But how do you communicate? Like, is it the church? Like you have gathering, or there are community organizations?
Actually, both. So we do that, and also we're connected through social media.
Social media. Mm-hmm. So, what is the Assyrian Church in LA? I mean, is there any church, or you go?
Yes. So we have the Assyrian Church of the East.
Mm-hmm.
Because as Assyrians, we are somewhat divided when it comes to different names. So there's Arameans, there's Chaldeans, there's Syriacs. I look at it as a tree, whereas the root of all of us is Assyrian. So we're all Assyrian, and there's just different sects of Assyrian, like different names. So it's like the Chaldeans are Assyrians, but they're Assyrian Catholics. So, but we are all.
But all are Christians.
People. All Christian. Yeah, we're all Christian.
But they are divided.
We are divided, so we're trying to get more unity, and it is changing now over the years, what I'm seeing, which is great, but we are all Assyrian in the end.
Yeah, it's like Armenians. They always find something to divide our nation.
Yes.
Same thing, I guess, happening with you too.
Yes, but it's changing now. With more education and also through social media, the Syriacs, the Arameans, and the Chaldeans are finding out that they are actually originally Assyrian.
Actually, look, Armenians, especially in diaspora, especially people who came long time ago, they lost their lands in Turkey. I mean, it's under Turkey now. They have that hope that one day they will have their land back and they will go back to their houses. So how is that feeling with Assyrians? Is there any like ideology, or they believe like one day they will have like their country, their government, their state?
Yes, yes. So actually, if you go into the Bible and the book of Isaiah, there is a prophecy. I believe it's Isaiah 19:23 to 25. It talks about how Assyria will rise again when Christ comes back to reign. But I also think all of us have a way of contributing to making that happen. Not all Assyrians are religious, but I really feel that it's our unity with Armenians and Assyrians that is going to contribute to our success of getting our lands back and just getting more involved with each other's communities or issues, because our unity is what's going to really help us rise.
How united we are, like Armenians and Assyrians. I know there are some connections. As I said, I've seen you a lot of places when there is like protest against Turkey or against Azerbaijan, for Artsakh, for Armenia. How involved are other Assyrians in Armenian events and vice versa? Like how Armenians are getting involved in your events?
Yes, I do see. Well, actually, it's so interesting because I meet so many Armenians that are mixed with Assyrian and vice versa. So that in itself, it's really neat. Like even for myself, I know I'm a little Armenian, and a lot of Assyrians I've met, they're mixed. So I do see some Assyrians going to Armenian events and some Armenians going to Assyrian events too. But because of everything, what I've been seeing what's happening with Artsakh and also with our people back in Iraq, Syria, Iran, all throughout the world, what's been happening with the persecution. A friend of mine that lives in Armenia, we both started an Assyrian Armenian community page on Instagram, so we can collaborate and help each other with our communities, and so we're aware of what's happening with each other's issues. So my idea, or I should say our idea, is to help familiarize each other what's happening, because I've noticed some Armenians weren't familiar with some
Assyrian
of the
history.
Yes, with the Assyrian history, and also with even some of the recent devastations we've had. In Baghdad in Iraq, there was a wedding fire.
That's right.
I believe there was close to 150 deaths with that. And so even with the 1915 genocide, there's been many other massacres like after that, like I believe it was in 1933, the Simile massacre in Iraq, and also what we've been dealing with ISIS. So we've been really trying to collaborate, because I really feel that in the end, we're one in Christ and we are all family. So it's really good if we unite and work on our issues together to really help get our lands back and preserve our lands, our culture.
Right. What are the issues you're talking about? What are the main issues we need to solve in order to be more united and more powerful?
I really think one good thing is we have the church, so the church unites us, but also I think we need to go outside of the church walls to get involved more in policy, lobbying, even just even work-wise with get involved with each other's events and help each other with each other's businesses, and just really awareness of what's been happening. It's a start.
I know there are some influential Assyrians, right?
Yes.
Can you name a few of them?
I can't think of it right off the top of my head right now. Patrick Bet-David, yes, and he's actually he's half Assyrian, half Armenian. He's from
perfect
Iran.
Match.
Yes, there you go. Yes, he's definitely a big one.
So how those influential people keep the Assyrian cause alive? How often do they do enough, like to keep people like aware of what's going on, what happened like 100 years ago, and what's been happening until now?
There has been some, but I really think there needs to be more. There needs to be more awareness. Actually, with Assyrians, if you look at the genocides and the massacres that have been happening, there's been on average since I think the last 1700 years, every 50 years there's a massacre of Assyrians. And unfortunately, a lot of Armenians aren't even familiar with this.
Yes.
So I think there needs to be more awareness, and we need more Assyrians to speak up, and also Armenians. And I also feel with some of our issues, there's a lot of emphasis on Armenian genocide. And obviously that's very important, and for that to be acknowledged.
But we know, not only Armenians have been killed,
yes.
but also Assyrians, Greek, right?
Yes. And so one thing is I think we need to include each other's groups, right. and not just say Armenian genocide, but also Armenian genocide, Assyrian genocide, the Greek genocide, also the Maronites, which are the Lebanese Christians, right. They're also part of that, and the Yazidis. They're not Christian, but they are, ancient Mesopotamian people, and they did actually help the Assyrians and the Armenians during the genocide, but they were also majorly persecuted as well.
In my opinion, we alone, even like Armenian community is larger in LA, yes, in America, yes. more powerful. But again, we alone cannot solve our problems.
Yes,
we need partners,
yes.
we need friends, and the same your community, Assyrian community, the Greek community, all. So what should we do in order to get together, to bring all of those people together? So because we have the same cause, we suffered,
yes.
Our history shows that we have to be together.
Yes.
And as an Armenian, I can say Turkey has a lot of influence here. They spend a lot of money, Azerbaijan as well, mm-hmm. to divide our community, to talk about our history, against our history, to fake the history. Mm-hmm. Are you feeling the same way? Are they working against you too?
Of course, because they deny our entire genocide.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel that if we come together and unite, mm-hmm. and especially our church leaders, people that are really active in the communities, the political activists, I really think if we all come together, they have no choice but to listen. And our unity, really, I think we could do so much together, so much more than if we were separated.
How are you connected with Armenian organizations, let's say ANC? I saw some events in Washington, D.C. There were some Assyrians involved. Do you have any information about that? What's going on?
Not so much in Washington, D.C. I know that there's some Christian organizations that have helped mm-hmm. with that. I'm not exactly sure just off the top of my head with Assyrians, but I know a lot of times where I see the Armenians, the Assyrians are involved too.
So as I said, Turkey is doing everything they can to divide the Armenian diaspora, yes. because they see truth, they see they can change. Right now, they have a lot of influence mm-hmm. on Armenian politics in Armenia, but not into the diaspora. So they are doing everything. They are faking the history, news, everything. How about Syrians? Do you feel let's say a Turkish embassy, or not embassy, consulate, they work against you? I don't know, let's say they blackmail, or I don't know, they news organizations do some fake stuff against the Assyrians. Do you feel that influence here too?
Yes, because they just deny the entire thing. So they want us to be divided. Yeah. That's what they want us to be. Mm-hmm. So we need to do the complete
So you
opposite.
Are divided too. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit more. You said all are Christians, right?
Yes, yes.
But what's the division? What's the problem?
So the problem is, if you look into the history, and I'm still learning myself, and I have to remain mm-hmm. humble because there's still so much that I have to learn. There's a lot of documentaries on it too that I'm really looking into. But because of these different names...
so name is very important.
Yes, it's so important.
Let's say Ashli is not acceptable for another church, or what is it?
So it would be like if someone that was Armenian that was maybe originally Orthodox Christian. And if an Armenian became Catholic, then you would completely change the name of Armenian to something completely different.
But we don't do that.
Yes, that's the thing. The Armenians are at an advantage because you guys don't have that.
We don't have to change our names.
Yeah, so
but you have to.
It's not that we have to, it's just that's what's happened through history. So there's been a lot of loss of identity because of that, and just because of the church politics. So what we're trying to do is more unify our people and just realizing we are one people.
Do you feel, maybe it's not a good question, politicalized, but do you feel like the churches are under influence of more powerful by like governments or something?
It could be. It could be. I'm honestly not exactly too sure with everything, but I will have to say there's been major divisions because of that, and it's caused a lot of problems. So we're trying to change that, and I really feel it's this generation that could really make a difference. So we really do have to take action and do something very soon to preserve everything.
Ashley, I see you brought something. Is it a flag?
I did.
Can you show me?
Sure. Here we go.
Oh, this is Assyrian flag. Nice. So do you always carry with you?
Not always, but when I go to some Armenian events, we want to make sure that we're represented as well.
I've seen that.
We're supporting you always. We always have your back.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming, Ashley. And if you have anything to add in our conversation, to maybe say a few words to the people who are watching us right now.
Sure. Really, in the end, we're all one family, and we have to see each other as family. And it's a start to unite our people is go to Instagram if you have it, and it's Assyrian Armenian community. And that way, the Assyrians and Armenians in the diaspora, we could unite and get familiar with each other's events, each other's history.
How's that called? Assyrian Armenian?
It's at Assyrian Armenian community. Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. So that's a start. And so we're working with each other. So, and then also I say just supporting each other's businesses. And there's so much we could do, but I really feel it's our unity that is going to really help us. And they have no other choice but to accept that this is the genocide that happened, and no more denial from Turkey and of the true history if we unite and collaborate more together.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
Sure, thank you.
Սիրելի բարեկամներ, իմ զրուցակիցը Ashli Sayadն էր, ազգության բասորի, նաև փոքրինչ հայ, գործարար եւ համայնքային ակտիվիստ։ Շնորհակալություն ուշադրության համար, կհանդիպենք առաջ։